Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. For today's interview, we have Winny joining us. Winny is an NFT OG. She's been in the space for a while. She's built a lot of things, and we are so excited to have her on the show. Winny, welcome to the pod.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a joy to be here. You guys run a really great ship, and I'm excited to be part of it.
Yeah. You know, you were actually our first guest since Twitter has changed the name to X. So we need to get your thoughts on the new name, X, the new logo. I mean, it's pretty crazy. All the degens live on Twitter. So for us to have to now switch over to thinking about Twitter as X, I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh my gosh. I'm just so fed up with Elon just messing about with something. It wasn't broken. Why is he trying to fix it? It's the fact that I was reading a tweet just before about how he tried to trial X with other users previously for other projects, and no one resonates with it because it just sounds like a porn site. I don't know. It's still Twitter. I think he's going to probably change it back in a few weeks when he realizes he's messed up a little bit. I bet Zuck is absolutely giggling right now and super excited for what's going to come next with Threads because, oh gosh, no, I'm kind of very upsetting. But like I've been doing a lot of research into like decentralized social media at the moment, and I'm just trying to work out, is that going to be the next steps? Is this kind of going to be a catalyst for what is going to be the next steps for decentralized social media? So I think we're in a really big change right now when it comes to how we interact online and what companies are going to be the next big ones as we move forward and as blockchain evolves and as we move into the next step of all of this. Yeah, I think it could be kind of cataclysmic for what it is for decentralized social media.
Let's extrapolate on that a tiny bit. I'd love to know what you mean by, or what your vision of decentralized social media is. I know I've heard that over the last couple of years. There have been some companies trying to come in and out. What have you seen? What are you looking forward to?
So I really like Lens. I've been using Lens quite a lot lately. So I think there's obviously a lot of dangers to it because, you know, we're not ready to live in a world where there is no censorship. But I do think that it's really great to be able to have this cross-platform kind of content. So like, you know, where Twitter goes down and you can't like take your users over to Instagram. And yeah, I think it's just kind of, like the cross-platform sharing, like users currently right now are unable to like transfer from like TikTok to Instagram, which is like an issue for so many users if TikTok was to go down. And also, again, we have the whole underlying tech problem with that as well of like, you know, single points of failure. So like, I think like utilizing open social graph protocols like Lens, it makes users able to like share one post across multiple platforms. So like if I post a video, if you've seen my video content, it goes on Lenster, LensTube, Favor, Orb, and that can lead to like a much more portable social capital and be able to like push innovation. And I just think that's more like democratic when it comes to social media, because you don't have like a government or a single entity being able to control it and inevitably kind of fuck it up. And I think that's just what Elon is pushing now. And it's, you know, when you have like a system of nodes, you have your single point of failure. But I think that is actually a human being in Twitter's instance, and that is Elon.
That's crazy because I never really thought about that, of being able to, I mean, yeah. So my sister's Instagram a couple years ago, her Instagram account got taken down. She had like over 10,000 followers, and they took it down because they said, "Oh, this is not you," even though it was literally her. It made no sense, and she could never get it back. Like, just all of her followers just wiped, everything gone. All of her photos she posted, everything gone. And you know, she had to end up starting back up again from zero. And what you're saying is, I love that. Like being able to, okay, if I, had an Instagram, for example, all my followers on Instagram and that got taken down or whatever, I would still have those followers on like other platforms and stuff, being able to have the followers kind of move around and not everything being totally gone and wiped and being in control of whatever the social platform is. So you think Twitter is moving towards that? And you think Twitter is moving towards that?
No, I don't think Twitter is moving towards that. I think it's going to push a lot of innovation for other people to kind of rise above. Because, like, I know there's jokes that, like, oh, we're all going to leave Twitter, we're all going to go here, we're all going to go here. It's like, but at what point does this happen? When is too much too much? Like, I hate my For You page. I hate, like, everything that I see. Why do I see that man who like, criticizes how men dress more than anyone that I follow? Like, and if I do spend a week on Twitter, which I tend to not do, my algorithm just gets completely thrown out the window. And it's just, how much are we becoming just like these creatures of consumerism for apps and like not being able to understand the algorithm? Like, why is the technology that we're using to use social media with not open source, and we can't understand why these pictures are being put in front of us? And I think there's going to be a huge shift in like what the actual ethics of social media is now. I mean, we're having a massive wake up as a society to what all this stuff is going on. So I think that this, with everything going on with Threads and Twitter, is going to be a cataclysm for the change that we need for socials. And
that's really interesting.
Sorry?
No, I was going to say that's really interesting. And those social media companies did kind of come at us kind of from out of nowhere, and they became some of the largest companies in the entire world. And they are like the most addictive things that have kind of ever been created. Mm-hmm. So you're right about that. When you talk about Lens, you mean Lens Protocol, right? Lens.xyz?
Yes, I do.
And it says there's a wait list. You actually have to join the wait list.
There is a wait list at the moment. Yeah, I've been on it for a while.
Okay, because I've always heard about that, but I've never actually. That's been around for a long time, right?
Yeah, it has. I think.
Yeah.
Can't remember when they started building that out. Maybe like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got to check that out. Try and get on the wait list. Try and get myself in there. Maybe even for the podcast. Probably good for the podcast.
When you put in a good word for us in there.
Do you have an invite link?
No, I don't think I do. I can check.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's all good. We're just messing, but it would be fun to have the podcast on there, especially,
Oh, for sure.
That's cool. Yeah.
Find some new listeners.
Winnie's like, she knows all the new things up and coming.
No, this was kind of cool. I didn't realize we were going to be getting into decentralized social media, but it's definitely topical, especially with you bringing up XGen, and so it's a really interesting topic.
Yeah, and Winnie, I'm also curious about your Web3 journey, because you said you got into the space in 2019, so 4 years ago. And I'd love to kind of hear about how, what got you into NFTs and kind of your journey as you've been in NFTs and what you've kind of done in this space. Because I know you've built a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things that we got to, get into Schiller and all that. But yeah, I'd love to hear your journey and how you got into it.
I mean, for sure. Yeah, I got into crypto in 2017. I was an unpaid fashion intern living in New York, and all of my friends had just made an absolute shit ton of money on like the 24th of December or whatever it was, 2017. And at that time, I was like, oh, this is too late for me to get in. This is far too late, whatever. And they're like, no, like just do it. Just whatever you can put in, do it. Because I was an unpaid intern living off barely any money. And I was like, you know what? I'm not making money any other way. Let's see how this goes. And at the time, I was really starting to hate my internship and the fashion industry. And I was really into like sustainability at the time. And I was considering changing degrees, considering going into like maybe marine biology or something like that. And I then just started kind of like the more I got was more interested in crypto, the more I started actually researching what blockchain was. So I went back to uni and I was like, okay, maybe for my final year, I was like, okay, maybe we can use blockchain to like maybe solve some of the issues in the fashion industry, from like supply chain and transparency and, samples, and how we can just use digital like technology to move forward with fashion. So in 2019, I was like a researcher at London Fashion Week for a writer. And that led me to going to a talk by the Fabricant, Megan from Vogue Business, and the person who I was researching for Roberts Islam, and it was about the future of digital fashion. And this is something that I just never really thought about. I was studying fashion design. I very much love doing everything digitally. I don't like mess. So I didn't like just everything being all over the place. So I tried to keep everything as digital as possible. And when I watched this talk, that was when it all clicked in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is exactly what I want to do. Nothing has made more sense ever in my entire life. So I wrote my undergrad paper on the relationship between blockchain and fashion for transparency and sustainability. And my professor pretty much turned around and said this was the stupidest thing she's ever read. So I nearly failed my undergrad. So naturally, out of spite, I applied to do a master's degree in computer science and business. I did that for the next year while I learned more about crypto, Solidity development. I didn't really know much about like the art side of NFTs till about 2020, but I was very much like reclusive during COVID, and I didn't really go on like Twitter that much. But then I was mostly just interested in the technology side of it all. But eventually I got into the Twitter side of things, and it's just been an amazing journey ever since then. So I was, a front end web dev, and I was just did like a little bit of deving on the side, and I was doing it for and a few crypto projects, and that's what kind of led me more into like crypto Twitter. And then from there, and then in 2021, in July, that's when a bunch of us little degenerates co-founded Shilla.xyz, and that was peak bull run time. And it was mainly like a thing from an ethical standpoint of there were so many rugs coming out, people were losing so much money. We wanted to try and see how we could find trust in a trustless system and how we can create a kind of movement that would allow, and like leveraging our reputation for trust to see how we can help brands, companies, protocols, platforms, projects scale within the industry with like a strong, solid backing of people. Like the guys from Shilla, like Fungible, Bernardo Cafe, who else is still there? TP, Connor. Honestly, some of the nicest people I've ever known, and to work with them was just such an amazing thing. And I'm so glad that they're still doing such incredible things now. And then, in March last year, I left to build out Figure Got with Jess, who's an incredible artist. She's worked with some of the most amazing rappers, musicians, brands in the world, to be honest. And what she created was a really beautiful collection. And it was, we know that the market wasn't timed right, and it was just something that to move the project forward, just had to release. So right now it's a very difficult time because of, finances and trying to understand what is next. But it's moving forward very swiftly. And I wish the Figure Got team, all the best with how they're going to move forward, because it's what they're building is really something really beautiful. And Jess and Cal, who are the main founders, Ali and I were brought on to the founding team as advisors to just kind of help them navigate the Web3 space. So really, really looking forward to see what comes from them. And then now I'm just really focusing on, there's so much negativity and so much, how would I put it? Just, of course, there's just the broness in this space, and there's just a lack of understanding of what really cool stuff and really cool technology is out there. So right now it's just, I'm focusing really on just highlighting and bringing education of, what is actually going on with blockchain, with technology, instead of everyone just crying about tokens and shit coins and scammers. That it's just, let's see what positivity we can bring forward and actually help people get ready for what's about to come with, like I was saying before, with centralized social media, decentralized fashion brands, decentralized beauty companies. There's some really cool things being built, which I think are going so under the radar because we're just screening into the void of just whatever those, frat boys are screaming about over there.
Why are you going to talk about Thread Guy like that? That's messed up.
Wow.
Name?
All right.
Yeah, I've actually seen your videos popping up on my feed. And I'm assuming you put those everywhere because they're vertical. So I'm like, okay, she must be putting these a bunch of places, maybe TikTok or something.
I don't burden my Instagram followers with them because they're mostly like friends from home. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna make you listen to like, why do protocols matter for the fashion industry? So it's they're mainly for TikTok and for Twitter and for the other platforms.
What is one? I mean, I know you talked about a lot of different things in your videos, projects and whatnot that are being built. But what's one thing that kind of maybe fresh in your mind that stands out to you that people don't really know about, but that's being built right now, that's happening?
Oh, that's a really great question. What stands out to me for what's being built? I have no idea. Oh my god! At this moment, I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just at ETC and I just had like a absolute load of information into like new protocols, like things that I hadn't heard of, and it's just been a really great week of learning about what everyone's up to. But right now, I can't think of a single. Well, there's some really cool, like the Fabricant are possibly one of my favorite companies. I think they're doing some really exciting things with what it means to bring the fashion industry into Web3, like building that bridge of trust back to us instead of us trying to force it upon them. They're kind of making it as seamless and as natural as possible. Like they did some really great activations a couple of weeks ago, Paris Fashion Week, like High Snobiety the weekend. And I think like people really, the reason I love fashion so much, and the reason I love fashion with 3 so much, is because it is going to be the thing that takes crypto mainstream. Like I 100% believe it is with regards to NFTs, digital twins, physicals. And I think that's just the most overlooked thing right now is the fashion industry. Like it's the titan of our world as it is. We live in a culture on Twitter that kind of forgets about that. So yeah, that's what it would be, I'd say.
How does the fashion industry kind of like utilize blockchain? Like, what does that look like? I mean, I guess I'm kind of thinking about, okay, I know, because there's different things, like there's the Louis Vuitton or however you say it, like thing. And then there's like, I saw the Tiffany's, with the necklace, pendants and stuff. But how about like clothing? Like are there any clothing fashion brands that are doing stuff? Or like, what are they doing?
So there's actually there's many different sides to what it is to actually like use blockchain in fashion. And I think whenever we talk about that, everyone would just think, oh, we're just going to put a QR code on a garment and tie it to a digital item. And then you'd either have you'd have like burn to redeem, or you would have it's now an access thing that gives you the opportunity to now spend more money with the company. But there's also like another side of it all, which is data and supply chain and data ownership and cross-conglomerate data sharing, like what it means to have a user experience. And I think we should be utilizing the main thing that we should be using blockchain for right now that's not gimmicky is actual, control of users' data that allow them, say, like with LVMH, you have loads of stores that are under it. So but then when you go, like say you go to Louis Vuitton and you hadn't shopped there before, but you've shopped at other stores at LVMH, you can't share your data that's even though it's under that kind of umbrella. So there's this one of my favorite protocols is Aura Consortium, which is an open source, which is an open protocol to pretty much any luxury brand. So it's just like, it's Prada, it's LVMH, it's Cartier, it's, I think possibly, I can't remember, it might be Breitling, but they are now, or Richmond, can't remember. They're working together to kind of create, the ability to it's just bringing brands together in a way that we used to be seen as like competition. But yeah, there's some really cool things going on. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of, I think it's definitely the luxury fashion houses that are like pushing the physical narrative right now with like claiming methods. So I think we're also going to see that a lot more. Like, yeah, last week we just saw the Louis Vuitton beanie bag NFT, which was debuted at Paris Fashion Week a few weeks ago, which is like the first claimable for the trunk holders that cost like 42K last month. They now have to spend like 9K to be able to buy the bag. So I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic for luxury fashion. And then like Dior last week released digital twin sneakers. So that's another way that we're moving forward with physicals, which have I think it's the burn. They have an NFC chip in the shoe that then links to like authenticity and, proof of what number it is, because there's like 470 that are made. And yeah, and then there's like the Gucci one, which just got released a few days ago as well, where you have to burn your NFT to claim a physical item at no additional cost. So I think what that's really exciting is that all these fashion houses are actually experimenting with different ways to bring their physical fashion and NFT thing together. And for some people, I can understand if that seems like gimmicky or whatever. And for some things, it can look kind of cash grabby. But I think I think it's really great to see this experimentation. And I think like we've been seeing like the data side being implemented for a while now. And it's really exciting to see how these fashion brands are implementing it physically.
I actually was thinking that some of them should, like, if you're a fashion brand, we'll say Gucci, and you're selling 1,000 of these certain pocketbooks, I think the receipt should be an NFT that has art on it. Yeah. And that's basically a certificate of authentication, and you can, they connect with each other, but like the receipts can be, and then if you have this receipt, then you're on the list to buy the next one and that kind of thing, like however they want to do it. But they should incorporate, use artists. And then what if one of these artists one day blows up? So you have a 2023 Gucci receipt that happened to be by an artist that in 2027 is now huge, and I could pay for your whole pocketbook or whatever. They can do all kinds of interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I like 100%. But yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how like soulbound tokens and transferable tokens play into this.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's going to be the main thing.
Yeah, soulbounds are a tiny bit weird to me, only because like people aren't going to have the same wallet forever. Like I love the idea, but like if your wallet gets hacked, you're not going to want to use it for anything, even though the soulbound token will still be in there. That's a whole nother topic, can of worms. I don't know if we need to get into it, but like, I don't know. I keep thinking that about soulbound tokens. That's the one thing I can't wrap my head around. Like,
no, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Winnie, you've been going to a lot of NFT events lately. So where were you? You just went to what event?
ETHCC in Paris.
In Paris. How was that? Can you give us a little insight on what that was like? I honestly have not been to any events outside the US.
Oh, ETHCC is my favorite conference. This is, I think, my third one. I live in Paris. So it's just really nice to have everyone come here and just, share the friends around. But the one reason that I find that it's my favorite conference is because it's not NFT related.
It's just crypto, basically. I mean, ETH.
It's crypto, and you get the most genuine builders here. It's people. There is zero grift. There is zero shell, and it's just such. And also, the people have been in this community have kind of been here a bit longer than people in NFTs. So there's definitely a lot more of a solid community surrounding this. That's just personally just how I feel, and just with regards to like NFT conferences that I've been to, especially in the US, it's just very different. But yeah, this week has been absolutely incredible. I've learned so much from so many inspiring people and just a lot of people that I really look up to. So yeah, it's been a good week.
Nice. What's your next event that you're going to?
Oh, I think I might be going to ETH Global in New York in September.
Oh, I hadn't even heard of that. ETH Global.
Yeah, it's just after Fashion Week, so I'm going to try and tie it all in together.
You're really traveling around a lot. I see you out here.
It's the best way to be a part of all of it. And I'm very lucky that I've got friends in a lot of places, so it makes travel easier. I can just stay with them. But I just think it's the best way to actually meet people and get your network. There's only so much you can do on Twitter, and I think just being able to meet people in real life is the most valuable.
It's X.
Then was the name changed to?
No.
Yeah, the app changed, like the logo on the phone.
I know the logo, but is the name changed? Like, is it like the whole, Facebook changing to Meta? Didn't Facebook change Meta back to Facebook? Like, or is it still Meta?
I thought that was going to be a thing, yeah.
I don't know, but
I think it's still Meta, but maybe they changed it. Facebook is still Facebook, but the whole.
But it's like you can I feel like you can say it interchangeably. I think it'll be hard for people to say X instead of Twitter. Like for a while, people were just gonna say Twitter. Like I'll definitely.
Of course, yeah, and are you still sending tweets?
Yeah, what is it called? Yeah, oh my gosh. Our
I
whole
just sent
world is
you. I just X'd you.
Oh, it's just
that doesn't sound good.
No, I just X'd you.
Yeah, so we have a rapid fire segment that we always like to end the show on. So we're gonna each ask. Oh, maybe we have to shorten it. I don't know. We'll
No, we haven't. Well, we'll see what happens.
go to that. It's okay.
we'll see what we can do.
Zoom has about 9 minutes left. This is not Andy's Zoom, so we have about 9.
We had some complications today, folks, behind the scenes that you guys don't know about, but we made it happen. Yes, so we're each going to ask 5 rapid fire questions, not necessarily related to Web3. Maybe they are. And yeah, Michael, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first today. What is the weirdest thing you have ever eaten?
Oh my gosh. See, I'm vegetarian, so
Hey, I'm vegan. Let's go.
I don't really eat anything too bizarre, actually.
There's some weird stuff that's not
Some weird vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was-
I think one of my favorite things that was like weird to me because obviously, you know, I'm a little white girl in Paris. Was one of my friends gave me those spicy sweets from Mexico. They're like spicy kind of like maybe strawberry, and they're covered in like spice.
Oh, with
Yeah.
the tahini on top. Sure.
Yeah, that was like me.
Wild. Oh, wild. That's so crazy.
Mexican candy. Well, Mexican candy is kind of weird for people that aren't used to it because it's like it's not just sweet. It's like they always have like that, like sour spicy component with it. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just a girl from Paris. He doesn't know it, right?
yes. All right. What is the first NFT you ever owned?
Oh my gosh, it was just a piece of my friend's art.
Awesome.
I think I bought it for 20 quid.
Favorite movie?
10 Things I Hate About You.
Nice.
What's one of your pet peeves?
Oh my gosh. I have a lot of pet things. Phone out at the dinner table.
Ooh, yes. Oh my God. That one times 100. Yes.
Nice. Punks or apes?
Punks.
Not even a question anymore.
Everyone always says
I know.
these
It's not
days.
even-
In the beginning, it was like,
Right.
oh, I don't know. Now it's like punks.
Yeah.
What is one book that has changed your life?
Oh my gosh. Probably so lame, but it is the Bitcoin Standard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice. Very on brand.
What is your favorite place to travel?
Oh, I'm really in love with Asia at the moment. So I just got back from like Thailand and the Philippines, and it's just made me want to go back. I know it's a continent, there's a lot more to it, but it's just made me want to explore the food, the culture. It's just such a beautiful place.
For sure. Amazing.
What was the worst job you ever had?
Oh, being a waitress at 14.
At 14, they let you be a waitress?
I wanted to, as soon as I could, I wanted to work. So yeah, I was on about, I think like £3 an hour on a Saturday.
You could work at 14? Jeez.
Yeah. And
Wow.
it was awful. It was,
I mean, working at 14 sounds horrible. Like, yeah.
but and then I guess I've done a lot of terrible bar jobs as well. I had one bar job when I was at uni that lasted about 2 shifts. Just because the vibe were not there. But then I've also worked at other bars that I loved so much for years, and yeah, I do miss a little bit of hospitality. It was a fun time.
And my final question is, what is your favorite quote?
Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out. That's a great one. That's a great one.
I was actually, so I've got quite a few tattoos, and one, I wanted to try and find a translation of fuck around and find out in Latin to get it tattooed. And after doing a little bit of research, the only thing that I could really find that related close enough to it was the Italian translation of who seeks finds. And I'm like, that works close enough. So Chicheka Jova is, it's tattooed on my shoulders. It is my fuck around and find out.
You know that quote is it came from Socrates.
Did it?
It's attributed to Socrates. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, what the heck? Oh my God.
That was a bad one. Bad joke. I felt.
Liddy knows the truth.
Oh,
You're like, no, it's attributed to Ben Franklin.
Actually. But Winnie, you also have we were talking right before we were started recording, and you have a ERC 721 tattoo, right? You said?
I do, but I also have a .eth tattoo. And I love that. I love my .eth tattoo probably more because I am actually blocked by Brantley. So yeah, I find it.
Oh, you're blocked by Brantley. Oh my god. That's funny. Oh man.
Yeah, the ERC 721 is a really great little community. I think I got it in October of 2021, and there's just a really great community of us, and I've met some of my best friends in the entire world just through it. I think there's 47 of us now, and it's you go to any conference around the world, and there's someone there, and it's really funny, and it's always something that people notice when you're at a conference, and it's always just a great conversation starter.
Right. Yeah, true. Very blockchain nerdy thing. ERC 721. Someone's like, oh my god, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question. What's the last thing you did for the first time?
Oh, don't know. The last thing I did for the first time. Okay, I need to think in just a second. I know what I want to do next. My next thing to do for the first time that I'm hopefully doing this summer.
Let's see.
I'm going to do a skydive.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, touching grass no longer suffices. I need to be lopped out of a plane. Hoping going to put something soon.
You need the next adrenaline rush. Yeah, jumping out of a plane, definitely. I was so nervous. My leg was shaking on the plane. And the guy strapped behind me, that's the skydiving guy. He's like, he touches my leg. He's like, stop shaking your leg.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, I'm nervous. Yeah. But that'll be fun. You'll enjoy it. And yeah, this has been a great interview. This has been a lot of fun. We really squeezed everything into a half hour here. So yeah, Winnie, thank you so much for joining us on the pod.
It's been such a great time.
Yes, and with that said, thank you all for tuning into this episode of the NFT Catcher podcast, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.